And just like that, another episode is underway of the Zoo Crew Redo podcast. Andy Lindahl, Scott Hastings. How are you, virtual reality land? I got to shut my phone off. I decided to do some Twitter nonsense, so now I got everybody. I'm stirring the pot.
So you went Josh Dover today and decided to go ahead and make everybody antsy and
maybe, but I wasn't like I posted a bad mustache picture that you saw.
The porn stash.
Dude,
was that a
was
real
so
mustache?
Great. That was. I was trying to grow a goatee,
right,
and I decided my face is a little too fat, so I shaved it off. But I thought I'd go show my kids and Andy real quick, and Andy didn't notice it at first because it needed some work. And then finally, when she did, she gave me you'd have thought there was just a thing of poo across my lip.
The nightmare.
So she ran off,
Christmas.
and my daughter gets up because she hears the commotion. She's like, "What? Oh my god!" She's like, "Don't talk to me." She ran in her room and slammed it. She goes, "You can't talk to me, Shell. You shave that. You have to shave that." She's like, "That's just the worst."
So was all this activity with the porn stash done this morning?
Yeah.
So this was early morning. I didn't see your tweet till this afternoon, I just put one word. I just went porn.
Yeah, it was bad though, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, I haven't shaved either, and mine's twofold. One, I think this is the longest I've ever gone. Now, I'm like you. I got.
You got the golf course,
yeah,
where it's patches here.
No, but it doesn't grow at the very top, but it actually is filling in more than it ever has. But the problem is, I can finally grow partial of a beard, but it's when it's gray, and so it's going to come out like freaking Santa, and I'm like, oh boy, that's cool looking.
Or you look like Nick Nolte in his mugshot. You don't want any of that either.
Yeah, well, hopefully I won't have any of that issue right there. But no, I'd let this go. But also was supposed to be, and we all don't know what's going to happen next week, let alone next month or heck 2 months from now.
Right.
But I'm supposed to be in a wedding where a guy has a beard. He wants all of his groomins to grow beard, even if they're bad.
Yeah. Okay.
So I said, well, I might as well start on and see how bad this would look. But, like I said, you can't even now just like my face, I'm doing those things on my Twitter account. Playing basketball with Ellie, and I, turn the camera and look at myself, and I'm going, you look, oh God, I look like Vic Lombardi, and I just haven't bathed in a week or so. Because some dudes have beards that are good looking.
Yeah.
Even the dudes on Duck Dynasty, those beards were kind of cool.
Yeah.
Those were cool.
They weren't grown in a day, though.
They weren't grown in a day, but still, I'm like, gosh, I look soiled.
Yeah, it's not a good. So I did that. So I've done that today, and let's see. Mosier, I guess, was running his gums because me and Mosier got a thing going on. So I did my 10 push-ups and shot those back at him. That didn't get too much reaction. And then I decided to just finish it off tonight by putting my brat. I took a picture of my brat. I put ketchup and mustard on it, and of course that sent Twitter crazy.
Oh, that's the most. I will say this. I understand the brat with mustard only if you must eat it. I'm not a big pepper guy, so I don't like all the peppers and stuff on mine.
I don't like sauerkraut.
I accidentally, and I'm not a sauerkraut guy either, I accidentally had a little ketchup on a brat one time. I'm sorry, it tastes good.
Man, ketchup on everything.
I'm sorry, it tastes. You know what? My daughter today had a corn dog. Well, to me, a corn dog, mustard.
Yeah.
That's a good old. But she goes, for some reason, there's certain foods that little kids don't like, and you can understand them. Broccoli, tomatoes, mustard. And I don't understand it. I'm like, I've got older daughters. When did mustard turn bad?
No, mustard's great too, but I don't understand
flavor.
the ketchup hate. I like me a good ketchup. I like a spicy ketchup.
I've traveled the Nuggets, and Chris Marlowe. Listen, he won't watch it because he doesn't really like us. He only tolerates me.
Chris doesn't support us.
He doesn't support us or like us. If you know Chris Marlowe, please reach out to him and get on live. In fact, maybe I'll call him right now. Can you
FaceTime him? FaceTime him.
Yeah, we could do that.
Then fast. We could show it to the camera.
I'll try to do that. That's a good idea. But it seems like mustard got a bad thing. But Marlowe will eat ketchup on his steaks.
If the steak's bad enough, I've had a steak bad enough to put a little ketchup on it.
I'm talking about the places that you go to that you don't have bad steaks.
Okay, yeah, that probably not then. But you guys were talking about it on the show the other day. I still like me a little A1. Ryan talking about he's so rich. Come on, Ryan Harris, I love you, big man. But you can't tell me that A1 still doesn't taste good. You still got the neighborhood in you.
Good.
There ain't nothing wrong with a little neighborhood in you where you got the A1. Don't act like you outgrew the neighborhood. You can't outgrow the neighborhood.
Do you remember the first time? This is what we'll do. We'll try to FaceTime different people and see who actually pick up.
Well, Jim Dalton wants to do some with us, but he's quarantined himself because he was in Europe during the bad stuff. So we're going to figure that out, too. We may have to do it this way with him.
Andy Dalton, the quarterback?
No, Jim Dalton.
Oh, Jim
the Railbenders.
The guy from, whatchamacallit?
From Roger Clyde and the Peacemakers.
All right.
Now he's ignoring you?
Well, I don't know if he understands how to do FaceTime. So I'll try
man.
one more. See if we can get somebody cool on. Hey, Moshe. Hey, me and Andy Lindahl.
We got beef.
Me and Andy
Beef ain't
Lindahl.
done yet. No, he's mad at me. He's one of the people threatening me for having the mustard as he cooks a bad steak. See, he's smiling. Don't ruin the beef, Moshe. We got to keep the beef going. It's all we got right now.
We're taping a podcast, and so he told me about your beef with him and the mustard. So, hey, you're our first guest.
Put him up to the camera.
Our first guest on our podcast is Mark Mosher. Mark,
you can't hardly. Here, hold on. I'll hold the phone. Let's get it closer. Yeah, there you go, Mark. There you go.
Hey, everybody. I'm glad to be here. What's up?
So
would you like to actually be here?
Hey, you used to listen to the Zoo Crew. Don't act like you didn't ever listen to the Zoo Crew. This is called the Zoo. This is Zoo Crew redo.
Of course I did, dude. This is like 20 years ago, man. I'm on it. Let's do it.
All right, well, you're now our guest. Is anything you want to Mark, tell us about the beef with Andy as far as the mustard and ketchup go.
No, he's mad.
Scotty, here's the problem. The way I see it, listen, ketchup is fine for a lot of things in life, man. Fries is the number one. But if you're going to do a brat, it's mustard only, man. And I don't know. Listen, I go to the Rockies a lot, okay? I know you guys do too. Scotty, you take your little ones. Andy, you do too. Man, I get the mustard dog, and you put the mustard on it, and then you crush it together, and you eat that thing.
You squeeze the bread on the hot dog, though. You got to squeeze that bread on the hot dog's good.
There's no doubt about it. See, Scotty, you and I are along the same lines. I don't know why Andy puts the mustard on there. Now, the ketchup. The ketchup is good, but the mustard is where it's at. It has to be a mustard dog, and it's a certain code you live by as a human being. And so the problem being is that you can't mix up the code, man. You have to live by a certain code. And for dogs and brats, it's mustard. For other stuff, it can be ketchup. And I'm totally cool with that. I don't dislike ketchup. It's just the way I live my life. And you know what? I choose to live my life that way.
Did you? I mean, look, dude, I'm a punk rock guy. You ain't telling me what to do, Mark. The man ain't telling me. Big Mustard ain't telling me how to live my life. I'm living my life. I don't give a damn what French's thinks I ought to do with my food. The hell with French's. Grey Poupon. You're living by your Grey Poupon rules. The hell with Grey Poupon. I'll put what I want on it.
See, and this is what makes America so damn great, is that I love both of you. You guys do you. I mean, you do your ketchup dog or what. Dude, I don't know, man. Put ketchup on your pancakes. Do whatever it is you do. That's fine. I'm just saying, you do you and I do me.
Hey.
And if you come to my house, here's the thing, Andy. If you come to my house, and I will invite both of you over for a huge barbecue. My trigger's going right now. I'm at 135 on my tri-tip. I'm almost there. I'm going to periscope in a little bit. But if you come to my house, if you put ketchup on any dog or brat, I swear we're going to fight.
That's fine. We can go like two old men.
No. You do you. We're going to fight. You at your house, you do whatever you want, and I won't even mess with you. But
No. I will come to your house. We have to go old school, bare knuckle boxing in the backyard. It's got to look like it's out of the 1950s. We'll wear some big oversized trunks.
Is that the Nightmare Before Christmas guy?
Yeah, that's Jack Skellington.
Yeah. We had him in the podcast last week.
He talks. Yeah.
No way, really?
Oh, yeah.
Hey, listen, Mose. Andy's
By the way, Scott, I love that movie. It's
great movie. Andy's man cave is kind of like a fantasy kid's like dream basement. I mean, we've got the Jack over there. We got John Elway dolls over there. We've got
Wah's over there. You like the Wah?
Little Patrick Wah in there.
I love the Scotty. I love the Wah pedal. I love that little stack. Well, let me see that stack again. Let me see a little stack.
There's a Marshall on the other side that you can't see.
Yeah, see, I love that. Look,
Couple of Les Pauls.
Hey, why don't we do this? Why don't we do this when all this nonsense is done? We get you moved down from Parker. We get you in on one of the podcasts, and you and Andy just sit there and jam. I'll bring all my harmonicas. We'll try to figure out a key that it fits in, and we'll just pretend.
We'll sing a song of healing like a bunch of hippies. Huh? We'll go a bunch of hippies. Hey, by the way, when because we do love you. This is going to ruin our Twitter beef, by the way, so you better talk smack to me on Periscope. Hey, when did you start talking like John Gruden? I swear. Do you not pick up a little John Gruden in there? He was just, he goes, you have your ketchup, man. You have. It's like you're talking about quarterbacks.
I can't stand that damn ketchup, man. It's like the worst possible condiment you can put on a dog, man. I just can't do it anymore, man.
Hey, Mose, I just want to say thank you for picking up your phone.
Yeah.
Marlo
ignored us.
Marlo puts ketchup on steaks like at the Shanahan's
At Ruth's
stuff.
Chris. Is he where is he?
Yeah, that's Marlo, ketchup on steaks. Yeah. Hey, thanks for being a guest and for being our first guest on the Zoo Crew Redo podcast. You get absolutely nothing.
I love it. Hey, listen, 20 years ago, flash forward 20 years, I loved you boys then. I still love you now. Talk to you soon.
See you, Mark. All right, that's Mark Moser, our first guest ever.
We need him here. Do we not need him here? We are going to have to do once a podcast. We'll say who's on my phone.
You and I got together a long time ago and said we want to do a podcast, but we want to do it fun. That's why we called it the Zoo Crew, because that was some of the most fun we had doing radio. Right?
I miss it.
Right? Yeah.
I'd pour one
so
out.
Is this not something the zoo would do?
No, that's what we got to do.
Have a guest?
That's something we did do. Remember the old big guest?
Dude, I could
fake big guest.
You know what? I could. Yeah, the fake big guest. Hey, how far is our camera go? Hey, look, it's Steven Spielberg. Hey, Steven, so tell me about your movie. Yeah, hey, thank you, Steven, for coming.
Who do we have? Mark Andrew, fake Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise
one
time. Yep. Yeah.
Oh, good times.
Love letters from Ashley.
Dude, do you realize we could not do that today on the radio?
No, I know. Yeah.
When we said, I don't think you understand, when we said goodbye to you and we played all the bits from the shows past, we got a few on there, and I was like, because this is post Janet Jackson now. I'm like
pre-Janet Jackson.
No, this was the bits were pre.
A lot
your
of them
goodbye was post.
Yeah.
And I started thinking, because AJ took over producer, I was just helping you out when I could. And I was like, I'm glad I'm not in charge of this. I am not sure having this is allowed anymore.
Not sure. We're not. Yeah, the Navy scene on the poop deck. And
the seaman on the poop deck because he was that's Chick McGillicuddy.
Well, do we want to have another guest on our podcast, or do we want to spread this out?
I think maybe the second back half we could.
Maybe we do a part two.
Okay, surprise.
I don't know. I could surprise you. Listen, I don't know who's going to answer the phone.
Neither do I. I mean, we could try. We could try. So.
Well, you tell me.
We will. Let's get going, and we'll do another one a little bit later.
Well, but do you want me to try to get like
I feel like you're motivated to try somebody else.
I'm motivated to try like a big guest.
Okay. Are you nervous? Do you feel like you're about to call the hot chick in grade school, and you're all nervous now and sweaty?
No.
Ask her to the dance?
Yeah, I don't even know.
What, did you never have to worry about that? Is that it? That's what you're telling me?
Here's
you just always had the A game going?
No.
He's not really with us. He's trying to figure out who to call.
Well, here we go.
Yeah, he's trying.
Read the name. Can you see the name on there?
I don't know. Yeah, maybe. Not. Yeah, they should be able to.
Try to get Dominic Wilkins.
It's a little late where he's at, I think.
Oh, that is. I forgot about that.
It's like 10:30.
And he is. Oh, sorry, Nick.
We'll try him again later.
I'll try it up later.
Might get a call.
Tell me that would be hilarious.
It's on its way to being about 11 o'clock.
Yeah. How hilarious would it be if we woke up Dominic Wilkins in Atlanta?
You know what? Here would be the thing. Well, remember when you got Shannon Sharp in the barber's chair?
Yeah.
We were hunting him down because he had just signed with Baltimore, and you knew he had two numbers, so you called the second one. And he go, who dis? Or something like that on the air.
Yeah.
And you go, it's Scotty, and he about cussed at you, and we had to turn the phone down, and we were laughing, and we talked to him in the barber's chair. You know, we could do one of two things. We could just call people and have them on FaceTime, But if we have a late night session, we could do like the booty call sessions and just give the late night booty call and see who's up to talk.
See who's up late to give us a hug.
What are you doing?
We already saw Marlo's already probably in bed or
what at 8:30?
He told me he does every day the prisoner challenge.
What's that?
Well, it's you do 100 push-ups,
Okay,
200 set-ups, like 100 body weight squats,
okay,
and then you drink a bottle of prisoner wine,
which
is really a good wine.
sounds like pee.
No, it's fantastic wine.
Okay,
Let's put it this way: you go to a nice steakhouse, it's $100 bottle of wine.
well,
Yeah, that's the way Chris Marlowe roasts.
yeah, okay, with his ketchup.
Yeah, with his ketchup, on his steak.
Anyway, how have you been surviving? Are you feeling? Because I was getting to a place where I was like, all right, maybe this time I'm gonna get over this hump. I'm gonna drop a few of these pounds that I've wanted to, and then the stupid last week of quarantine and frankly your daughter's Girl Scout cookies. I'm not feeling so great anymore.
They came at the right time, didn't they?
Well, when you're home doing shows, we have access to all our snacks, like the Girl Scout cookies. So I'm not disciplined the way I'd like to be.
I've been pretty good. I think I've maintained or even lost a little weight. I exercise a little bit, 15, 20 minutes a day. I try to get outside if possible. I will say this. I find that I'm tired more, but I think it's because you sit around. I mean, I've watched every single kids show on Netflix that you could possibly watch. I finished The Hunters on Amazon Prime.
Good.
Have you seen it?
No, you keep telling me. But now, see, I want to watch this Tiger Man show. Are you watching that yet?
No, that looks stupid.
I heard it's insane.
Yeah, it's about people that raise tigers and they kill each other. And people kill each other and stuff, and it's like real.
Well, I'm going to give it one.
Yeah, I'm good.
So now that you're done with the Hunters, what are you going to do?
Well, I went back. I'm waiting for the next year of the Magician, so I'll go back and start that over, just see what I missed. I still need to catch up on the second year of the Ozarks because the third year has come out. I don't know. You know what? I went back and watched a movie last night. I watched The Quiet Place last night.
What'd you think of that?
Have you seen it?
No. Was it quiet?
Gosh, you know what? I don't know who you're like, but you're like Josh Dover. I swear to God.
What?
Are you his father? I mean, sir, he's seen no movies. He never goes to a movie. A Quiet Place is that John Krasinski and
I wanted to see it.
The Bloom girl, which is his real wife. And basically, there's monsters around, and if you make noise, they eat you and kill you. Yeah, it's really good. Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Okay, good. I'll look it up. I'll throw it on the list. I can't remember. I added something new this week, but now I can't remember what the heck it was. I don't know. You know how it is, man. You want to watch a bunch of stuff, but you never get. I still struggle with this. I'd be serious for just a moment. I got my son in the other room, and sometimes I think I should watch this, and there's other times where I'm thinking I need to engage with the kid, right? Mm-hmm. I don't feel like I engage enough sometimes.
But then you realize he doesn't like you.
Right. Yes. He would rather play his video game. So he's playing his video game. But, seriously, how you get going with the kids and you do your thing, and then you kind of – I will tell you what I've been doing. Not that anybody cares, but I got on my iPad, I got these Fender classes I've been paying $6 a month for the last since October. Haven't opened the app at all. I've ripped through the first 3 sessions of lessons, so I'm going to level 4. Got back my basic stuff. By the way, Dave Brown Music. He's a good guitar teacher here in town. When I get through all this, I may look him up, but I know I got to reach out to him. He's looking to give lessons. He can do it virtually if you guys are wanting to learn. But I, like you, I thought I heard you say something on the show where you're trying to keep your mind sharp. So I thought since I got off, I thought, you know what? Maybe I won't just play Blink 182 for Scotty. Maybe I will learn some new chords.
We dedicated a song to you yesterday with Blink 182.
Which one was it?
The one that you don't play, I think.
Yeah, all the small things that I hate.
Yeah, it might have been
their most popular song.
Yeah.
So anyway, you've been trying to keep the mind sharp, right? Yeah, you've been teaching Ellie basketball.
Well, yeah, and it started just to try to do something, and she came to me. It's really funny. A couple weeks before all this started, and we were out just shooting. It was a nice day, and she turned to her mom and goes, "I want to be a basketball star." Daddy just, let me adjust my jeans here. But then it was just something to do that was different. And I'm torn on this because she's the star of the thing because a couple of them are really super funny because of her. I'm trying to show her something, how you try to, and all of a sudden she goes, Dad, look at all the birds. It's like squirrel from
so it's right
from up, right?
It's real 6-year-old sports.
So like today, I went out today, and I said sometimes you just gotta let them play. So we went out to this court out by our house, about a block and a half from the house, and we're out shooting. Next thing I know, the ball's rolling, and she's kicking it, and she's playing soccer with herself. Right in the middle, I said you gotta let them play. And she goes 150 yards out in this field kicking the ball. And I did say, I said, that's my kid, not Mosier's, mine. But yeah, I will say this: being in the house with youngsters, the school district has been great because there's a place they can go, and even though it's supposed to be your spring break, they're still doing some lesson stuff, and that's really cool. We found, I told you last time, I think we did the Kids Art Hub, and this guy, and he's out of Utah, and he and his kids, and he's an artist, you can tell, and he draws simple pictures that kids can draw. And I got my daughter at 5 who, when the kids writing and scratching and everything's all kind of funky and everything, to her draws these pictures. I'm like, that's pretty good. That's
yeah,
pretty
I heard
cool.
you. Those art classes.
I know. It's unbelievable. So there's neat thing. And I will say this, and I know some people are going crazy, and I worry about that. I worry about the people that are alone and with their thoughts. I worry about people, the abuse factor that could happen. I think we're going to hear horror stories when we come out of this. I hope not. But I've found myself enjoying it from this standpoint that I've reconnected differently. I've had more family meals together. Sitting at home and being actually eating dinner. Usually, like if it's a home game day, we get off the radio at 2. I'm out the door at 3:45. Get home at 10.
It's just go.
So I'm usually gone from 10 to 10:15, 10:30. I'm a 12-hour block right in the middle of the day. My daughter goes to school at 8. So there's certain days I see her other than a kiss goodbye, have a good day. Stuff like that. So there's a reconnection that to me has really been, I've enjoyed part of it, to be honest with you.
So, and you touched on, and I would agree with that too. Now again, like you, I have a lot of people that I know that live by themselves that I worry about a little bit. One person in particular has older parents and can't go and see them because we've got to be careful.
Don't know, yeah.
And they're very tight, so I worry about that. I thought it was interesting because, we all have our sports. Like, deep down, I'd love for my son to play lacrosse. He just hasn't shown an interest in it. You talked about your daughter bringing up basketball. Has it ever – you've got 4 kids total. Now, your daughters did play basketball. Did your son play basketball? Was it something – what I'm getting at is, did you ever try to influence anything there, or did you just let them pick it?
I let them pick it, but if they wanted help, I tried to be there. Probably overcoached. I coached one in high school at a varsity level, and that was the easiest because it was a group setting. She happens to be one of the girls, and I did get one of those times, and I always let her have from the end of practice till we got home in the car. I said, open forum. Nothing you say will be held against you. She said, hey, I don't mind you getting on me because, if I can get on her, I can get on anybody. She goes, but when I do something good, I wish you praise me. Well, I learned a lot on that. So, no, I never pushed him. I mean, my son was never going to be quick and fast and was kind of slow, but he was a hell of a football player, and he was played left guard, started for 2 years varsity, and, when he got done playing, he got recruited a little bit in college. His grades weren't good enough, but he was 6'5", 295.
He's a big kid.
Big kid. So, and strong. So, no, I don't push. I'm not going to push this, but I want to be around. I think I have a knowledge. I will tell you one funny story, though. Listen, I've been lucky. I won a state championship in high school, was the player of the year in high school in Kansas, went to Arkansas, had some success there, played 11 years in the NBA. And so, I think I know some things. And I remember my son came home one time and he showed me, he goes, Dad, I'll show you this new move. I said, cool, like a freshman or a sophomore. He goes in there and shows me this move and does it, drop steps, hip steps through, blah, blah, blah. I go, yeah, where'd you learn that? He goes, Coach stood on it. I said, the math teacher? He goes, yeah. I go, do you know I've been trying to teach you that move for the last 2 years? I said, and finally the math teacher got your attention,
Well,
which is good. It was great, but it's humbling when you have kids and when you play the sport. So I don't want to be the pressure guy. I want to be there if they need it. I learned with my son, because there is more with a son and a dad, I think, whether we want to admit it or not. I think there is. That I wish if I could go back in time, I would be more of his dad than his coach, because I never really coached him. But I wish I could be his dad and not just coaching him all the time.
But see, I'm in the opposite point where I think, do I need to push my kid a little bit here? Because he's not really picking anything, and I'm trying to accept that maybe sports won't be his deal. But, I got there were 4 of us, four brothers. 3 of us love sports. Now, one of them, even the one that didn't love sports, still could play it. He just wasn't totally into it. And so I'm trying to accept, part of me is like, at times my son is just stuck on the video games. I just feel like, well, maybe it's a time to go and force the issue, which I may do over this thing. See, the reason why
you know what you do, you turn off the internet for a day.
That is a great call. I might have to do that. Not a day that we're trying to do our show, though. I bring it up just because I think, I think it's going to be interesting these times that finally kids get a summer off. Like when we come out on the other side of this thing, because I'm not the biggest. Look, if the kid wants to play a sport all year round, I say go for it. Fine. But don't make the kid play a sport all year round. I don't like that.
That's the worst. That's the worst thing that's happened to our society. And I coached AAU basketball.
So
but it's not just basketball. It's lacrosse. I got a buddy of mine whose son is rated in the top, 20 in the United States for 11-year-olds. And I'm like,
yeah,
11-year-olds. I mean,
really?
they win national tournaments. That's how good this kid is. Has a face-off coach. Guy was like 201-1 last year in face-offs or something like that. And you know how important face-offs are in lacrosse. But there's no off season,
right?
And I saw this when I was doing, and this was 20 years ago when I was coaching AAU 15, 20 years ago. Kids are getting burned out by the time they're 17.
See,
and that's too bad. I try to tell everybody now, and I know, well, you're the old guy, get off my lawn, old bull. Okay, never played basketball year round, never played football year round, never played baseball year round, never played tennis all year round. And guess what? I led in all 4 in high school. Because I played them all.
And if you got it, you got it.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter if you got it, someone's going to find you.
Right. Well, see, this is why I bring it up, because like you talked about it. I can remember when I was coaching a couple years ago. It was my first year coaching, and a parent come to me and they said, "Why aren't you playing my son this? Here, there." It's the usual parent conversations that you had. And I remember looking at this lady, and there was nothing wrong with this mother. Frankly, some of the parents come at you a little hard, as you know. She was just trying to have a nice, polite conversation. And I remember looking at her and I said, "Ma'am, I believe he's every bit as good as you think he is." But I said, "I don't think he wants to play anymore." And I said, I remember that. He's got a look to him that I had when I didn't want to play baseball anymore. And I said, "I think you've got to accept." I said, "It's breaking my heart," because I knew he was the kid that, you know the term, he was our first off the bus kid. He put his gear on, and you knew right away the other coach, because you don't scout each other at the lower levels, was going to put their best defenseman on him, because he just had to look like this kid can play. And he showed it in warm-ups, and everything looked right. He just didn't. The dude could have dominated the lower level, been varsity from a young age, and finally I got him to admit he just didn't want to play anymore. And to your point, I mean, I'm hoping this time off will reignite some of the fire for some of these guys and gals, frankly, to do it a little bit more.
Or a realization, one of the two, which either way it goes, it should be okay.
Yeah, fair enough. I just think I hope this time sucks. Let's be honest about it. It sucks for everybody. I don't love everything about it, but there are positives that we can find, and things are going to be different on the other side. And I hope the way we try to hammer our kids to do one thing all the time is one of the things that changes, frankly.
I agree with you. I agree with you. wholeheartedly. I know from basketball, and it might be this way in baseball. I mean, I had a buddy of mine who did stuff with his kids, played baseball at younger levels. They were playing at 13 and 14, playing over 200 games a year or something like that. And I'm like, well, baseball. It wasn't 200. It wasn't that many. It couldn't have been that many. But it was like
probably
80 or 90.
100 over the summer?
Yeah.
I had buddies that played on teams that get 100 games in over the summer.
In baseball. You know, and my one daughter was on a traveling soccer team for a while, and they were traveling about every other weekend. Had another person whose kid wanted to play, or they wanted their kid to play soccer, and she was very good. But I was like, and made her quit basketball. And she ended up getting a scholarship in soccer, and she was a really good basketball player. As far as one of those guys who always want your team, put her on anybody, and she'll stop them defensively,
right.
You know, Charlie Hustle, if you will. But I said, as much money have you spent every summer over the last 7 years, you could have paid for a year and a half of college.
See, that's
the scary part right there for me. The cost for these kids at the lower mid levels are astronomical right now.
Scotty, I really wonder, and look, my daughter participates in skating. You know that's not cheap. I'm wondering how many people are going to realize you've got a second job or you're not home as much because of how much this is coming out of your budget now. And I don't know how we got here. Because when I was growing up, it was like $50, $50 for a uniform fee, and again, I understand times change, but I mean, come on. What I always fear is the kids that I think really need it sometimes are the ones that, mom and dad are both working and they need their time occupied, or they don't have a good influence in their life and they need their time occupied.
Well, think about
and
this.
They can't afford to do it.
And you always tell me the story of that bike you wanted. That I always
my GT. It's right out there, Rusty.
And I always brag about you with that bike. But I had a similar story, and that as I started to get taller, all of a sudden, and I always wanted to play third. I always wanted to do everything against being tall. Like I wanted to be a great ball handler, and I could really handle the basketball because they always say big guys are too clumsy, can't dribble. So I worked incessantly on dribbling. Baseball, I wanted to avoid first base as long as I could because everybody said, the tall guys go and play first base. Well, they finally got me to move over there, and I don't even know if it was Babe Ruth. I think it was Babe Ruth. And I didn't have a first baseman glove. And back then, the teams had all these gloves for it.
Right,
They
right.
had a catcher's mitt if you caught. So I had to buy a first baseman's glove. And, my folks, were divorced, and my mom's a school teacher, and, they didn't have no money.
One easy request.
And I think it was like $24, $25 for a Rawlings first baseman glove. Well, guess what? I was out mowing yards, begging people to mow yards. got I think $30, and my mom said, "Here, you pay $20, and I'll pay the rest." Which, in a lot, but man, it was like, then I have some extras. She said, "Yeah," and my mom used to equate everything to food. That's how times have changed. I'd say, "Hey, I want to go buy this Matchbox car, this cool Mercedes Matchbox car, $1.09 or something like that with tax." And she goes, "That's 2 hamburgers at Johnny's. That's 2 hamburgers, fries, and a Coke at Johnny's. Because hamburgers on Saturdays are 20 cents. And I'm like, oh, you're right. and when it comes to food nowadays, my daughter goes, "Hey, I want this game, Daddy. It's $3.99. I'm like, why? It's on my phone, too.
Yeah.
Why?
Hey, your money?
Yeah. Well, I hope there's a lot of stuff that we learn from this. And one of the biggest things that we talked about on our radio show today was, can we get off ourselves? And as bad as you and I think we have it, and, being at home and not used to it and all the different stuff, man, there's a lot of people worse off.
Look, I got friends that work in a hospital, and I had a quick drink with one of them. Yeah, I had a drink with Jen the other night, and you learn. And our girl Hannah McNally, another ER nurse or on the front lines. It's just like, just shut up and be funny. I'll shut up and let us be your clown. We're here to help you, have a chuckle, all that kind of stuff, because like you said, we've got nothing on our shoulders compared to the people that are on the front lines of the hospital. All right, I'll tell you what. We're going to take a quick break here. Join us on Scott's Twitter for the next one. So again, I like to sometimes throw what we do at you. We'll do a little sports fun because you were around for the start of the Rockies franchise.
Mm-hmm.
So something we threw out there today I think you'll have fun with, and we'll see what other sports maybe you want to get into. But you knowing the whole history of the Rockies franchise, I think this isn't one where Andy goes, hey, I remember back in the 80s when you were worried about playing basketball. This is something that you'll know the whole history and you'll be able to pick your favorites from.
All
right. So that's part one. Be ready for part two coming at you in a second. See you, Facebook.
Not literally.